Hi everyone, welcome back to my lab, and today's video, which is going to be the video in which I try Victoria Beckham Beauty for the very first time. I made some very interesting color choices when I purchased from Victoria Beckham Beauty, so it's a little challenging to create a cohesive makeup look, but I think that we finally got there. And even if this makeup look is not your cup of tea, I definitely have some thoughts on all the different products that I picked up, and there were quite a few of them. And this brand is quite pricey, so I hope that you're going to find this video helpful. Before we get into the video, if you're new here, I'm Yori. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I hope you're going to enjoy this one and find it helpful. And if so, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up while you're watching and consider subscribing and joining our growing makeup family. Now, without any further delay, let's go ahead and get started. Because Victoria Beckham Beauty doesn't have any complexion products yet, I've done something I don't often do, which is do my foundation first. So today I'm trying out the Tower 28 Sunny Days Broad Spectrum SPF 30 Tinted Sunscreen. So I'm wearing that. I have a little bit of the NARS color corrector. I'm just continuing to try this out. Some of the items from my Sephora haul. And then for concealer, I'm using this from RMS Beauty. It's their Uncover Up in the shade 11. Don't ask me how long this has been in my collection because I have no idea. And it was brand new. So I'm using the shade 11. And I kind of had to stir it up a little bit to kind of get the emollients back up again. Anyway, I set that down with the Charlotte Tilbury powder, and I have the NARS eyeshadow base. So let's go ahead and start from here. Let's start with the eyeshadow palette. This is the Smoky Eye Brick, and I picked mine up in the shade Tuxedo. And I have to say, when I was buying these things, I wasn't thinking of making one look. I was just picking and choosing amongst the things, thinking what I might get the most use out of or what was the most unique to my collection. So I ended up with a hodgepodge of colors that I honestly don't know if it'll make a cohesive look. So this is the outer packaging. The eyeshadow palette is made in the USA and has a 12-month shelf life. So here's what the outer packaging looks like. It is so beautiful. It has a push button opening, and whoops, I just lost the plastic covering, but this is the one that I got. And I think I picked this one up because I thought it would be the most unique to my collection, because I definitely do not wear cool tones like this very often. I'm going to also be using some of the Sonia G brushes that are newest to my collection. I haven't had the opportunity to use them on my channel. So I think we're intended to use this shade the most since that's the biggest pan. I guess I didn't think this through very well, but I'm actually going to go into that second shade. So this is the Sonia G Worker brush from the Lotus collection. I bought some of the potted eyeshadows, and just looking at this color, I'm already thinking that the potted eyeshadows I selected are not gonna go well with this look because they are more warm tone. But we're just gonna make it work, and wait till you see the eyeliner too. Like, I feel I just went all over the place. Just working from the tiny palette, you know, the mirror is workable, and I'm glad that it's in there, but I personally prefer to work with something a little bit bigger. The finish of these eyeshadows, if you look at them, they look like satin finish. Like, you can see a little bit of shimmer in them, but that actually isn't translating to the lid. I feel it's one of those shadows that have those shimmers just to increase their blendability, and they are blending quite nicely. This one is a jumbo blender. It was from her Kiyaki set, and that was from around holiday last year. I'm just going to pop this into the outer corner. I'm going into this shade right here. I don't know if the shades have names. They do. Blanc, Rain, Noir, and Fumé. Very straightforward with these. Out of the 4 shades, this is the one that appears to have the most of that sparkle in it, but it is definitely not translating to the eye. Like, on my eye, it just looks like a completely matte shadow. One nice thing is that I'm not getting any fallout at all. Usually I'm pretty careless when I'm doing my eyeshadow, which is why I prefer to do my foundation afterwards. But I figure I'd save a little time and focus just on these products. They're blending very nicely. I feel like I've been doing a lot of more smoky eye shapes, so today I'm going to go for more of a halo eye. This is the Soft Definer brush from the Lotus set. I can actually see this little palette doing a really nice all matte look where you have that bone shade on the lid and having more of that kind of mod look. But because I wanted to try out more of her products, I'm not gonna do a look like that today. I'm gonna grab a clean fluffy brush just for blending. This is the Refer number 27, and I just want to diffuse the edges. The shadows blend really nicely. Maybe I'll use the same brush in that bone shade, and I'll use it more along the brow, but I really feel like this would be a really nice color all over the lid. Compared to the other ones, this one does have more of a satin finish in my opinion. I'm going to take the lighter gray shade, the shade Rain, and I'm just going to mimic the same look under the lower lash line. I'll probably use some of the black to really smoke out the lower lash line. This one is a Sonia G Mini Booster. It's one of the nicest brushes she has ever made. I could have a ton of these and still feel like I could use more. I'm gonna go ahead and deepen it out with that shade. Inner and outer corner just underneath the lower lash line. And I'm leaving the center plain. I'm gonna put a little bit of the lighter shade on the inner corner just because I want to kind of brighten that. My eyes are already pretty close set and deep set as well, so I need to brighten that. This is actually a really nice matte inner corner shade. Alright, let's move on because I've been on eyeshadow for quite some time. I picked up 2 of the lid Lustres. They come with 5 grams each. They are crystal infused eyeshadows, neither of which I think will go with this look. I picked up the shades Tea Rose and Honey, and these are made in Italy and they have a 24-month shelf life. So I don't think Honey's gonna go with this look. So let me pull out Tea Rose first. Here's what the packaging looks like. It matches the patterning on the eyeshadow palette. It's just beautiful, like truly beautiful. So it just has a screw top and then a little stopper, and here's the shade. So this one, it has kind of like a pink reflect to it. Let me go ahead and open the other one. I might end up layering the two. This one is definitely more of a bronzy color. I'm not sure that this one would flatter what I'm wearing today. Because of the liner that I got, I'm thinking I'm gonna go with the shade Tea Rose, and let me try to apply it with a brush first, and then I'll go in with my fingers. I think the liner that I got might pull this all together. This is a very pretty shade. It definitely has pink to it, and it has gold reflex as well. Seems to be applying fine with a brush. This one is the Sonia G Flat Definer, and I'm not getting any fallout with that. I do want to bring some up through the center and then match it on the lower lash line. Again, not any fallout. Makes me really happy. So that was the application with a brush. Let's try with a finger. So here's what that looks like. Well, it's faster with my finger, but honestly, I'm not getting any more intensity than what I had with a brush, and the brush has the nice advantage of being a little more precise. Yeah, I already went too far with this one. For not having applied any kind of tacky base, I think that applied really nicely. Just, you know, in the interest of science, I'm going to apply a little bit of this gold one, and I'm just going to put it right in the center, just to see if I can get a little more added dimension. It gives it a little something. Now, because I went too far out on that side, I do want to fix it and put some of the darker matte shade. I only bought 1 eyeliner. This one has a 12-month shelf life, made in Germany. I was commenting how it seems like Germany has the market cornered on pencils. And this one is in the shade Bordeaux. And I'm pretty sure that it was Haley from Beauty News that convinced me into getting this shade. Again, not exactly what I would have intentionally purchased for this look, but I'm just trying out the products. I think I'm gonna put it on the waterline actually. This is super intensely red. Oh my goodness. Wow, I barely touched that to my waterline. Oh my goodness. That's very pigmented. Again, putting red on the oh, this makeup look. Should I just line my eyes with it? I think I will, because I mean, we're already here. This is super creamy. This is somewhat of a liner pencil. I'm trying to see. Oh my goodness, it smudges out really easily. Actually, I realized I was using a brush and the other side had a smudger, but the brush is a little more precise than the smudger. Actually, this might have been pretty good. I'll have to try that out next time. We need to get some mascara on Stat. So when this first launched, I heard a lot of buzz about it. It is her Future Lash mascara. It says smudge free and lifting. I believe that it's one of the tubing mascaras. And this one has a 6-month shelf life, made in the USA. So it's supposed to strengthen, lengthen, and lift. Yeah, it says Future Lash washes away entirely, no lashes harmed, no remover needed. So it is definitely a tubing mascara. So let's go ahead and try it. I wonder if it's gonna have the same packaging as the rest of the products. No, so this one is just a shiny black packaging. I actually didn't buy this one from the Victoria Beckham website. I saw it as an add-on for Ipsy, and I had been really curious. Oh, this wand is really interesting. It's curved and it's really narrow. So I'm just gonna apply it without a primer just to see. So I'm seeing lengthening, separation, but not a lot of pigment and not a lot of volume, at least not yet. Let me see if I can build it up. I don't know, this is just one layer on the upper lash line. The mascara is super heavy. This mascara packaging is beautiful. I like the wand. I like that it's tubing. It's separating and curling. I wouldn't say it's a volumizing mascara by any means. It layers beautifully. I've never had so many layers of mascara and not get my lashes to get that spidery look. So this is what the lashes look like. With this look, I'll be very honest, I wanted more. So I think that this is more for an everyday kind of mascara, more natural look. It does lengthen beautifully. I wish it was darker. This one is in the shade. It actually doesn't have a shade, so I'm assuming it's just their only shade, a Future Lash mascara. I wish it was darker, honestly. So far, this has been the one disappointment. Let's keep going. I forgot to mention the pencils. They come with a sharpener, and it's just a normal sharpener. That's what it looks like. You can opt to get it without the sharpener, I think, at least when I bought it, and save a little money, but both of the pencils I had came with sharpeners. Let's get into the bronzer. So here's the bronzer, 12-month shelf life, made in the US, and this says, brush Soleil lightly across the face where the sun naturally hits. Use honey to contour under the cheekbones and jawline. So I picked mine up in the shade, let's see, number 2. So it's the shade Soleil and Honey. Here's the packaging for the bronzer, very similar to the eyeshadow palette, but much bigger. Like you can see, the eyeshadow palette is a lot smaller there. Same kind of opening. You have a push button, and it's pretty aggressive when it opens, actually. I'm surprised she didn't include magnets, but I think that has to do with like a sustainability issue. Here's what the 2 shades look like. I can only assume this is the contour shade and that's the bronzing shade. When it's listed on the back, it says Warm Soleil Contour Honey. Either way, I'm gonna contour with this one, and I'm using a Sonia G cheek brush. Has quite a bit of kick up in the pan, actually. It looks a little bit light in the pan as well, but when I was looking on her website, I saw, you know, the shade number 3. The models for that shade had a significantly darker skin tone than me, so I figured this would be the better shade. So I think it's subtle but buildable. And now I'm going to use my brand new Sonia G brush. This is the, I think it's pronounced Niji Pro. This brush is so soft. I'm gonna go ahead and go into the bronzier shade with this one. This brush is so soft. I like the color of the bristles too. All of a sudden, it's summertime in Chicago. It actually layers really nicely over unset foundation. Well, I mean the tinted moisturizer or the sunscreen, however you want to call that Tower 28 product. But I like the look of it. I'm feeling better about my makeup now that there's some definition back to my face. I have 3 more products. Victoria Beckham doesn't have a highlighter, so I applied one off camera. I used this one by Westman Atelier. It's the Super Loaded Tinted Highlighter in the shade Peau de Pêche. It's actually my first time using it, and I'm trying to figure out if this is a powder or a cream. I feel like it went on as a cream, and in the packaging it kind of looks like a cream, but I had to go in quite a bit to build it up. It's got a very sheer base too, but if you know about this highlighter, let me know. I've actually tried out quite a bit from Westman Atelier, but never that highlighter. Continuing on in my treasure trove of Victoria Beckham Beauty products, this is the Cheeky Posh. It's a cream blush stick. You get 5 grams of product, made in Italy, 24-month shelf life, and I picked mine up in the shade Major. And here's what that packaging looks like. This one is, again, reminiscent of that pattern on the eyeshadow palette, the bronzer, and so on. So again, no magnet. This one is just sort of like held in there with little tension brackets, but it's still very beautiful and very luxe. So I picked mine up in the shade Major. Let's see how much product you get. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and apply it directly to the skin. And I'm going to try to blend it in with the Sonia G Detail brush. Oh wow, this blends in really easily. It blends in almost like if it were a powder, actually. I'm barely putting any pressure on the brush. Again, not necessarily something I would pair with this eyeshadow look, but in the interest of trying out the brand. There were actually a couple of lighter shades that I was interested in trying out, but I thought, you know, they were a little bit too light, a little bit too neutral. And then with the rose ink blushes, I picked up more neutral shades. So I figured try one that looks a little more pigmented. So I picked up one lip pencil. This one is in the shade 05. And let's see, made in Czech Republic. This one has 1.14 grams of product, 24-month shelf life. And like I said, it's in the shade number 5, which is more of a nude shade. I picked it up to match the nude lipstick that I decided upon. Very creamy lip pencil, not as creamy as the Lisa Eldridge ones, but it's a nice one, I like it. For the lipsticks, I picked up 2 shades. I have the shade Fringe and the shade Fire. These have a 12-month shelf life, made in Italy, and you get 2 grams of product in each. I'll go ahead and show you the shade Fire, and I'll swatch them out for you as well. But I have to draw the line somewhere with this makeup look, and this is not the shade that I will be wearing today. But it is a very bright, bold, orangey red color. Very, very beautiful. These remind me like the Hourglass lipsticks. They're about that thin, and the Hourglass refills kind of look like this. But very beautiful packaging. Again, it's kind of that marbled look. That is not the lipstick we'll be wearing today. Instead, I will go ahead and wear Fringe. And I'm not sure how it's gonna look with this makeup look. So this is going to be a rich brown shade. So clearly the other lip was a fabulous 90s lip. And this one is very bright and bold, but it actually looks better with the look. Clearly I didn't think through the different pieces that I purchased. Like I said, I was really trying to just get items that were going to be unique to my collection or things that stood out to me for whatever reason. Alright guys, so this is your finished look. As you can see, I didn't go with either of the Victoria Beckham lipsticks that I purchased. Neither lip color would really go with this look at all. And so I figured that the best way to tie everything together was to bring in something that would kind of correlate with the eyeliner. And so Lisa Eldridge Velvet Jazz is making an appearance. I'm sure Victoria Beckham won't mind. I hear they're very good friends. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. I'm going to go ahead and show you some close-ups so that you can really see what the products look like applied. And I want to run through everything that I purchased, kind of give you my hits and misses based on my first impressions. And of course, I'll continue trying the products in conjunction with other things that may be a little bit more cohesive with the color choices. So let's go ahead and start in the order that I applied the products. The first thing I tried out was the eyeshadow palette. The packaging is so beautiful. This is the cutest thing ever. I picked up the shade Tuxedo just because, like I said, I wanted to try a little bit of a different color story. So this is the one that I went with. Not necessarily colors that flatter me the most, but definitely unique in my collection. If you have the Natasha Denona, what is it? The Xenon palette, the mini Xenon palette. This is similar tones here. I think that this is going to be an eyeshadow palette that's going to be very beautiful if I use it in the way that I mentioned, where I use kind of this shade on the lid and then smoke it out a little bit with the other colors, and not necessarily in combination with the eyeshadow toppers that I purchased as well. The quality on this is actually really nice. They blend really well, and despite some of the shades having a little bit of sparkle on there, I don't notice it when I apply it to the lid. So it's a beautiful little eyeshadow palette, very pricey, definitely in the experience. I think that this one is an okay product. You definitely have these tones in your collection, but the palette is really beautiful. One of the standout products for me definitely has to be the lid lusters. I use mostly Tea Rose on the center of my eyelid. I applied a little bit of honey just to play with them both. I think that these are going to be very beautiful one and done eyeshadows, but also very pretty when layered over other eyeshadows. Maybe not necessarily the ones I'm wearing today, even though the look I think turned out okay. Not that bad, it's not my worst for sure. It's definitely interesting. I find it unique, but enough about that. The eyeshadows I think are a really great buy. And if you enjoy this kind of product, I think that you definitely enjoy this. She has maybe about 8 shades now, and I really liked how they picked up really well on a brush and applied very well with minimal fallout. I did notice when I was finishing up my makeup that I had a tiny little bit of glitter underneath my eyes, and it's most likely from when I went in under the lower lash line. You can always use a glitter adhesive or something like that to minimize that issue, or doing your eyeshadow first, but these are really beautiful. Standout products in my opinion. From there, we went on to the mascara, and I have to say that this is the single most disappointing product in the entire line for me, and it's one of the ones I was looking forward to the most because this mascara has been pretty hyped in my opinion, although I don't hear people talking about it as much anymore. The packaging is beautiful. It's really weighted, really pretty. It's the only one that doesn't have that kind of brown marble effect, but it's still pretty just the same. I think if you like a natural looking lengthening and a little bit of separating mascara, maybe a little bit of curling, you might like this one. I don't think it's very black in the color, which I prefer a mascara to be very black, and it's not volumizing in my opinion at all. So if you're looking for something volumizing, definitely pass on this one. I don't hate it, but I'm very disappointed with this one. This was the biggest letdown of the entire video in my opinion. Actually, I went out of order a little bit because I applied the eyeliner first. This is the Satin Kajal liner in the shade Bordeaux. An interesting color, definitely the most interesting that she has in her collection. She might have a gray one, maybe a blue one, but the other colors are more like neutrals and things like that. But the creaminess with which this applied on the waterline, I mean, you saw it. It went on so easily. I really like this. Like, this has to be one of my top 3. So far, the potted eyeshadows and this eyeliner, very nice. If you like an eyeliner that you can work with, that it gives you time so that you can apply it and smudge it out with a brush like I did, or smudge it out with the sponge tip that it has on the other side, these are great. If you want an everyday eyeliner that you're going to get a lot of use out of and it's going to be very versatile for you, I highly recommend this. It's very rare that an eyeliner makes that kind of impression on me, but this one did. Next, I have the bronzer, and it's very similar to the eyeshadow palette in the packaging. Very beautiful product. I liked how it applies. I like that it is luminous, but not glowy. Like, it has like a natural finish, but with a little bit of luminosity. but not too much for a bronzer. And then I also like that you have the two shades to play with, so you can get a little bit of a sculpt going on and then also a bronze. I like that it's refillable. I know for a lot of people this is their holy grail bronzer. Right now I like it. I'm not absolutely in love with it. Well, I'm in love with the packaging. This is so luxe, but I think it's okay. I think it works just fine. Looks very pretty on the skin. It lays very well over unset foundation. And again, I picked up the shade 02. Even though they look kind of light on the pan, they do build up. They do have a tiny bit of kick up in the pan, but nothing too terrible. And it applies beautifully with the Sonia G brushes. Next, I believe I applied the cream blush. And this is really nice. I like the shade that I picked out. It's one of those shades that gives you a natural flush. And it's really going to go with any makeup look. So this is the one that I'm wearing. And it was in the shade Major. It's a little bit dry, but it blends out so nicely and so easily with a brush. I used a very, very soft brush. This is the Sonia G detail brush, and I was just using slightly patting and buffing motions, and it blended out very, very easily. I was really impressed with how easily it blended out. I also like that it's more of a natural finish blush and not too luminous or too matte. It's just very skin-like and natural. These are very, very pretty blushes. If you're a person that likes to set your foundation, I think that this might be a cream blush that might work very well for you just because of the way that it blends out. It really has kind of a cream to powder finish, I would say. And I have a feeling that this would layer very well over powders, so it might be worth a try if that's how you like to do your makeup. Next, we have a lip liner, and again, this is something I liked. It didn't impress me as much as the eyeliner. It's very nice. It's just a typical wooden pencil, and the shade that I picked was good for the shade Fringe. On her website, she has recommendations for what shade of lip liners to pick up with what lipsticks, and I think that this was a good pairing. It just obviously didn't work out with the makeup that I was wearing today. Paired with the shade Fringe in the lipstick, I really like these lipsticks. I don't know if it's the packaging that's kind of getting to me, but the formula also is very creamy, and I like that you can build them up. They start a little bit sheer, but you can build them up to full opacity, and they are more of a shiny finish lipstick, so they're very hydrating. And I like that the bullet is smaller too, so you can get a precise application. I really like the lipsticks actually. I really love this shade. I tried it on for you so that you can see it. This one is in the shade Fire. This was not launched with her original launch, and I really like this one. This one would be so pretty for summer. Like if you have a look that's not a lot of eye makeup and you just have a very pretty complexion and a bold lipstick like this, it looks so, so pretty. I do really like the lipsticks. It's unfortunate I couldn't wear them in the video, but they just didn't suit the eye look that I was wearing today. I used a variety of the Sonia G brushes throughout the look, and you know, the Lotus set, absolutely beautiful. Also gorgeous little set. I like working with these smaller brushes. At first, I didn't like smaller handle brushes in general, but I like working with tiny brushes like this. I feel like I can get really precise and really see what I'm doing. And the shapes she selected for this set were just really, really phenomenal. Definitely appreciate having another mini booster. And then this one, the Soft Definer, is a beautiful brush as well. And this brush, oh my goodness, this one is so stunning. This one is currently sold out, but she did say on her Instagram that she was going to work on restocking these. It's definitely going to be worth the wait. Very, very soft brush. I really liked it for the application of bronzer today too. I thought it did a great job. So that was pretty much it for the products that I tried today. If you could let me know about the Westman Atelier highlighter. Is it a cream? Is it a powder? Like, what is it that's so different about this formula? And you know, I thought that the shade was a little dark for me too, but it doesn't have a lot of base colors, so I think it actually worked out really well. If you know the answer to that, I would love to hear more about that formula in the comment section, because it was different. It struck me as different. So there you have it, based on my experience with Victoria Beckham Beauty. If you were interested in trying out the brand, my standouts are going to be these lid lusters for sure. I would definitely recommend starting there, and the eyeliners. Very unique products. And then with the little mini eyeshadow palettes, they're so different just in the way that they're packaged, kind of in just one single pan with different sizes. I don't know, it's different to me. So it's something interesting, but nothing out of this world in terms of the shades. So everything was really okay. The only thing I would warn you about is the mascara. For me personally, this was a miss. Very disappointed with this one. That's gonna be everything for today's video. It was a journey. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up for me. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and ring the bell so that you can be notified every single time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I hope you're doing really, really well, and I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon on the next one. Bye-bye.